And welcome everyone for another edition of the Join John series, where we will be interacting with a host of industry speakers. I'm John Vincent, co-founder of NicheBrains and the host for this series. Just a quick brief about NicheBrains. NicheBrains is a digital transformation platform which connects millions of SMEs with the best of brains across the globe to adopt digital transformation to help them grow their business exponentially, thus democratizing digital transformation. In today's session, we have a wonderful guest, Venkat, who is the founder and CEO of PQSI Digital, an Industry 4.0 product company, and also an expert on the NicheBrains platform. Venkat has used crawlers, parsers, and arrays more than a decade ago in IT services. He's an early adopter of big data, and with in-depth experience in harnessing technology for data mining, service excellence, and process automation, content management, and deep profiles, he founded PQSI Digital to accelerate digital transformation, especially in manufacturing. Venkat has built a model for assessment of value stream for digital transformation. He has also assessed close to 100 plus manufacturing value streams across different subsegments of manufacturing. Today, their solutions Statboard is also across 20 plus locations all over India. So welcome to today's episode, Venkat. Great to have you interact with us today. It will be great if you can give us a brief introduction about yourself to start with.
Thank you, John. It's my pleasure to be here. So most of it is what you have described, but the last 5-6 years have been fascinating. What I was doing in IT services across a set of different domains, I have started focusing on manufacturing, and it's a great time to be in India and to be associated with manufacturing. A lot of things are happening, and our product basically the vision is to take a horizontal approach. So if you look at Industry 4, the traditional use cases are focused on one particular data set, such as condition monitoring or utilities management. We take a horizontal approach, put together all the data sets, and the discovery has been fascinating and producing a lot of impact for our customers. All right.
Yeah. Wonderful. So just, starting on the topic for today, it's about achieving success through Industry 4.0 transformation. So what exactly first you mean by Industry 4.0, especially for manufacturing industries, and how they can achieve this success on Industry 4.0 transformation, Venkat?
Right. So to understand Industry 4 better, I think we would start by differentiating it from the third industrial revolution. Industry 4 itself referring to the fourth industrial revolution. As you have it on screen, the third revolution itself is in 1970s, about 50 years ago from where we are today. It spoke about automation, logical controllers, which is PLC, and the usage of information technology in the shop floor. So that way, manufacturing has been way ahead of other businesses when it comes to transformation and the use of digital. Then why are we talking about the fourth industrial revolution? What is it different? There are different flavors to it. People talk about additive manufacturing as an Industry 4 use case. We're talking about 3D printing as a Industry 4 use case. AR, VR, mixed reality is also Industry 4. But the theme that we are talking about today, the area that I am working on, is connected to do with convergence. Convergence means you can ask what is coming together when you say convergence. It is convergence of man and machine, which means man uses information technology and machines use operational technology. So we're talking about IT and OT convergence. The other aspect, more interesting aspect of the convergence is that the data on the manufacturing shop floor does not have one owner. Different departments, different functions, different people have ownership to those devices which produce the data.
Right.
So when you bring data together using a horizontal approach or a business-centric approach, you are inevitably bringing departments together. So basically what we deliver through convergence is a common language. And the language is based on data. Data itself, if it comes from a single source of truth, it makes it very easy for people to come together and solve problems and achieve their goals. So that's the specific aspect of Industry 4 that we will be talking more about today.
All right. Okay. And just talking about, we've talked about, success as such, how do you build upon that?
Yeah. So if you read, about Industry 4, especially if you just Google around Industry 4 failures, you will see a lot being written about it. But a common thread that you will come across when you assess or when you dive deeper into the failures in Industry 4 or any digital transformation, is opening with technology. For example, when a company goes out and say, I want to use cognitive intelligence, I want to use artificial intelligence, I want to use imaging technology, that usually produces a software project. Your vendor or your consultant might come out and say, we have a successful project, but the question that will remain is, did we achieve anything about it? So the simple answer to how do I ensure that we achieve success is by saying that I start with a problem and a goal. And using Industry 4, the emerging technologies, be it big data, live monitoring, analytics, meta capabilities, machine learning, pattern recognition. There are so many aspects of software technology that is coming together in Industry 4. Using those specifically as a methodology. Pattern recognition by itself is not the destiny for any journey. The journey should be, be based on, I want to improve my traceability, I want to improve my productivity, I want to improve quality, I want to reduce breakdown, I want to improve profitability. These are statements that have remained for many hundreds of years in manufacturing. There is nothing new about that. Right. The objective, as long as it is very clear, you can easily choose the methodology. When the methodology is aligned very closely to the objective, you have a greater chance of success. This is when I say, we have an assessment model when we deliver digital transformation. It starts by asking the stakeholders, what is the problem that you are trying to solve today? Now, coming more into the methodology, let's say somebody says, I want to improve productivity. Then there is a very, well-defined KPI around that. You either call it overall line effectiveness or overall equipment effectiveness. You can add some yield analytics to it. You can add straight pass ratio to it, first time right to it. So if you put together a set of KPIs, at that moment, the goals have been translated to numbers. So you know that I have a assets position. I am at 65% line effectiveness. I would like to reach 85% line effectiveness. Now the goal has been very, very clearly defined.
Right.
Now comes the journey. You start by finding out, where am I going to get the data to reliably deliver on these KPIs? That is where the single source of truth happens, which is where IoT itself happens. You use sensors, you use production counters, you use condition monitors. So much of the IoT element comes in, where you are converting physical actions on the floor, a noise on the floor, temperature, pressure. All of this is being converted to data, right, which is the mechatronics element, converting things into data. And then you translate all of this into reliable KPIs. Now, that is how Industry 4.0 can deliver successfully.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think I completely resonate with you there, Venkat, because from our experience too, I've seen that quite a lot of industries go with the thought process of let's just add in a technology, and probably we are already into Industry 4.0. But I think the approach that you have been driving through your company as well, and that's what we also encourage with our SMEs, that you always look from the problem statement as to what exactly are you wanting in this Industry 4.0, rather than the final technology or the end one, right? That's something, the technology is finally the end result, the end add-on, right? But from where you want to drive is down from you talk about the actual core need and what is the problem that you're looking to solve. I think I completely resonate with you there, Venkat. So Venkat, you've given us a little bit on the what is Industry 4.0 and also the success, how to ensure success for Industry 4.0. Have you got some case studies that will basically enlighten for the audience as well as for manufacturing industries to pick up? You've worked extensively as well. Some case studies, if you can share with us, that will be of great help here, Venkat.
Definitely, John. See, what's been interesting about our journey is that our approach, the horizontal approach, has fit into a wide variety of manufacturing companies. So we work with an electric vehicle company. We also work with a 50-year-old cement manufacturing plant. So the case studies are wide, but in the interest of time, I have handpicked a couple of case studies which best exemplify what we are doing here. The first one is a Chennai-based truck and bus manufacturing company. I think they are in the top 5 when it comes to volume of trucks and buses that produce in the world itself. So, we're talking about India-based, Chennai-based, but global class manufacturing company, where our product is used in the analysis of their engine production. So they make 4 different types of engines. Now, if you look at the underlying framework of data, see, this is where the Industry 3 and Industry 4 comes in. Industry 3 started producing data, right? So thanks to all of that, there is plenty of digital sources of data available in the shop floor. So before the implementation of our product, there was plenty of data being produced. So the first thing we did was build a framework, model to govern the data, to control the data. We built that, and we today monitor about 350,000 data points across 4 different variations of the engine. Now, all of these data sources are not, in a single place. It lies all over the shop floor. It produces data in different frequencies, in different data structures. So I think the data comes to us in about 12 or 13 different digital sources, each of them controlling or measuring a certain aspect of engine quality for you. So if you look at when an engine finally goes out of the line, in some way or the other, we are looking at 40,000, 50,000 data points, saying we are going to monitor so many of those points to say that this engine is good to go. Okay. Now, so this being the basic analytics and monitoring, what is the transformation that happens in? See, when we say transformation, it must change the way we work. It must make our working methods more efficient. What happened was, before the advent of Industry 4 and transformation and our work with this customer, a typical review cycle to improve engine design. See, once you know of a certain fault, be it inline or aftermarket, the review cycles would take considerable amount of time because somebody had to put together all the data, churn through the analysis. Some of these are data points that you and I cannot read. It will need an expert time. Whereas with our product, we translate the data in real time and give it to them. So a review which they could do maybe once in a month or once in 3 months, it is today possible to do that review practically every day. So the convergence we spoke about earlier is amongst the production team, which wants to make sure that 100 engines, 150 engines are produced every day. Then there is a manufacturing engineering department, there is your manufacturing quality department, and your R&D. This company in particular has made a lot of transformation in R&D. What used to take 2 years for them, 5 years for them to bring out a new engine design, today they are doing it in 6 months, thanks to their ability to make improvements very, very fast.
Wonderful.
The convergence of people, the shortening of data cycles, immediate access to data, translation of dark data into actionable insights. That is what we are delivering in the first use case.
Wonderful.
The second use case is of a complete contrast. It is an electric two-wheeler maker, probably the most successful or the most prominent EV company in the Indian automotive scene today. Excellent product. So where they have used is probably the most challenging implementation we have done today, because it is a massive case of convergence, both in terms of the battery building line and the vehicle assembly lines. Data is produced both by digital sources. So they use certain amount of robotics in manufacturing. There are a lot of automated tests that happen in the line. So this company, it's not without reason that they have become the #1 in the space.
Right.
So the factory has been built ground up as a digital factory.
Okay.
Right. So like I've put in the slide, so when a vehicle crosses the line, about 30,000, 35,000 data points are put together, analyzed. All of them are in acceptable norms. Only then it goes for the field, the road testing. So the other aspect of this is the change management. One of the reasons of failure for Industry 4 is if you go with a very rigid structure rather than a framework, you will not be able to support change. You cannot say that a manufacturing shop floor is a rigid structure. It changes a lot.
Right.
As much as, it could be producing the same vehicle for 2 years or 3 years. There is a lot of change that happens. In this case, the change management that we have supported them is the line balancing. So they have, achieved a very fast cycle time. Today, from the time they started, they have cut down the cycle time by almost 75%. So they're like 3 times, 4 times faster than a year ago. That line balancing has been done through our product without writing a single line of code.
All right.
So
Okay.
the change management aspect is also very, very important to ensure success in Industry 4. So, to our MSME friends, I would say when you sign up a contract, look at the 5-year total cost of ownership. Don't just look at acquiring. So, it's not when you acquire, Industry 4, when you are negotiating a contract, you're not buying software. You're buying living thing. So, think about 5 years total cost of ownership.
Right. Yeah. I think it makes a lot of sense. You just cannot look at the short term, especially when you're looking at going for an Industry 4.0 as well as a transformation as such. You need to look at the larger picture. Probably you need to you can probably sprint it out, but then you need to look at it from a very long picture. Probably say 3 years or 5 years down the line. So that's what you ideally have to look at. So
you should have a roadmap mentality, and you should be prepared to shuffle your milestones depending on what is working well for your business and what is becoming less important for your business.
Very true, Venkat. I completely sync with you on that. So Venkat, I think these are some wonderful case studies you have given us from your experience as well. So is there some final key thoughts that you have for the experts, for the SMEs to take home, probably try and implement as such, which they can quickly start off? I know it's a long journey, but at least to kickstart. So some of your learnings, as you rightly put it across here, it will be wonderful, right?
Right. So one of the things I've seen post-COVID is that the manufacturing scene in India is pretty much in the hotspot. If you look at the global, sourcing strategies, those kind of things. A lot of SMEs I know of are becoming part of export promotion councils. They are going, to a UK or Dubai and demonstrating their manufacturing capabilities. The entire supply chain strategy around the world is going to change post-COVID, and with the whole, advent of what China is going to do in the Indian Ocean. There is a lot of changes happening. Now, MSMEs who are looking to, one of the things that your OEMs are going to ask you when you want to become an exporter rather than just be a domestic producer to India-based OEM is about your Industry 4.0 capability. So I'm meeting, we work with clusters in Maharashtra. These are groups of 500 or 800 companies. A lot of them think that it takes crores of money to do Industry 4.0.
Right.
Not at all. See, I'm sure. Is there something you can do for crores of money? Of course, you can do something for crores of money, but does everybody need crores of money? Not at all. You can, start with really, really small budgets. What I tell my MSME customer standard is, think about the cost of one engineer for 1 month.
Yep.
That is a decent enough budget for you to get started with your Industry 4.0 game.
Very true. Right.
True. So the first thing that, if you are an MSME and you're talking to a world-class OEM and they're asking, one of the first things they will want to know is about your traceability. So that's a good use case to start with. And that means you should remove paper from your shop floor. So the first use case you need to go with digitalization. Stop creating paper-based check sheet. Any method, if you can use Excel sheet, start with that. If you can use a small app to enter your data, start with that. If you can put some production counters, IoT sensors, measurement systems, any of these, a lot of these are becoming very, very affordable. From the time we started in Industry 4, John, the cost of sensors has come down a lot.
Absolutely. Right.
We recently designed an IoT module for a press shop. Mm-hmm. The sensor suite for that is less than 7,000 rupees.
Oh, very wonderful.
We built something. Yeah, we built something for a sewing machine to monitor productivity of a sewing machine. That is less than 1,000 rupees.
Oh,
okay. So these numbers are fast collapsing. It is like cars and two-wheelers. When we were going to school, very rarely somebody would come in a car. Today, every family has a car. Like that, Industry 4 also, it's going through that maturity curve. It's becoming very, very affordable. So the first goal I would ask for everyone is to remove paper, create live data, and then once you have achieved that goal, all the things will become easy. For you to do analytics becomes easy, for you to do monitoring becomes easy. But the unsaid challenge in all of this is probably the point of view that Industry 4.0 is about technology. It is actually a management philosophy. The technology has been there 15 years ago. Big data is not new. Machine learning is not new. Artificial intelligence is going to be, I think, 80, 90 years old. None of this is new. What is new is how we are going to use it. So especially as MSMEs, if the leadership mindset is in the right place, and they think of Industry 4 as a method to manage their business rather than as technology, it is very much affordable. So once you get into the basics of removing paper, as leaders, you should bring about a certain amount of change. Once you have analytics, it becomes very easy to ask questions. So if I am as a manager, without knowing anything about the business, I can go to the shop floor and ask someone, why does this chart look like this?
Right.
I need to know nothing about that machine, and I expect that person to know the answer. Now that is kind of, I have a gun, I'm armed with data, I'm looking at charts, so I will, ask you to put your hands up. That will not work. That is also, cause for failure. So the change management has to come from leadership, especially in MSME, where people have to sit around data. So you talk about democratization in a different context in your introduction. The second democratization that needs to happen is of data, that it should be accessible to everyone. At least in the first, 1 month, 3 months after you go live, people need to sit together and say, what is the data saying? Why is it behaving like this? That has to be now this philosophy itself, again, TQM provides for this. The review of data every morning, they call it, your sunrise meeting or daily works management. So our product has a dashboard specifically for sunrise meetings.
Right.
So that change management of everybody sitting together and, consuming the data, sharing it with each other and saying, hey, this could be because of, the new material that we are using in the floor. Do you see this machine doesn't work very well with that fixture? So those kind of conversations need to happen very well. So it is a very, very people subject and much less a technology subject.
Right. Wonderful. I get it. I think it is. It's a myth that that one of the key points that I pulled out from yours. It's primarily a myth. That when we go into probably the Industry 4.0 or transformation, it's a pretty expensive and process for us. And as you rightly put it out, that some sensors, you get it for as low as 7,002 or the entire. You can start very small, but the whole goal is have a thought process around what you want to achieve and begin with it. Obviously, and one of the key points which you have obviously put across is capturing of data. So start capturing data wherever it is, whether it's probably even in an Excel or some digital form. Just capture the data, because at some point of time it's definitely going to be useful in terms of the analytics and what you can do with it. So as you pointed out, all these have the AI, probably the machine learning and all of that has been there for years, but it's just that how to use was what was missing, and that's what we're trying to
we are getting ready only now to consume all of that.
Absolutely. I think it makes a lot of sense, Venkat. Wonderful. So if there are some final summary points that you have, if you can just put it across, and then we can move it over to questions, Venkat. So
I like any big change, this is about the people. It starts with leadership, and it percolates down from there on. It is a change management subject to be handled with a lot of care, but it is not so much. See, when we started, people used to talk about, I want to do Industry 4.0. This is a big thing. Now all of that is gone. It's almost becoming a mandate. Respected OEMs, overseas partners will not work with you if you don't have decent digital infrastructure in place.
Very true.
So it is a must-have for your business, and the good news is it is becoming highly affordable. And a lot of companies, including ours, we have gone through the initial failure modes, and we have re-architected our products, continuously improved our products to address and plug those holes that we learned from the industry.
Very true. So
it's a great time, even so every which way, if you're a SME or a large player, or people like Niche Brains and PQSI Digital who are in the manufacturing space, it's a great time. I think these are very, very exciting times for Indian manufacturing.
Absolutely, I think So as you pointed out as well, transformation is a long distance journey, and somewhere we need to start it, and let's start soon and start driving it fast. All right, thank you so much, Venkat, for your insights for today. With that, I can open it up for questions to the audience. I think you can. Anybody's got a. I think.
I have a question.
Okay, there's one question from Lakshmi. Yeah. So before embarking on an Industry 4.0, any pre-preparation to be done by the organization?
Like I'm assuming Lakshmi Murthy is from a manufacturing background, and I have a lot of respect for old techniques that have been used. So we went to a tire manufacturing facility in Nashik many years ago, and I saw that place to be the most prepared for the Industry 4 journey. And then I learned that the what we call as a framework, the master data management framework, which is the foundation for our approach to Industry 4 transformation. It has another name. It is called as a quality table. So some hardcore TQM practitioners use this A3 paper where they draw quality table. If you're able to do something like that, that forms the ideal preparatory step. So what the quality table does is, on x-axis it plots all the variance, and the y-axis it plots all the drivers of variance, and it puts a correlation saying this is a strong impact. For example, you can say temperature has a strong impact on the hardness of the material, things like that, right? So if you can prepare something like this, analyze your business, identify what are the variations, who is causing the variations, and build the relationship between these two. That is an excellent preparatory step. In other words, if we were to use non-technical words, understand the data in your business, put it together even on a once in a month or once in a week basis, put it all together in a single Excel sheet, or if you're using any of the statistical process control software, put it all together in one place like a jigsaw puzzle. Sure. And read the data in its complete state, not as the state of one machine or the diameter of one particular component like that. Instead, put the data together and review it as a team from time to time. That's excellent preparation. If you know the data very well, if you're able to see your value stream as a data stream, you are 50% on your way to Industry 4.
Wonderful. I think that answers that for you, Lakshmi. There's another question from Nanda. So his question is, what is your biggest challenge in convincing SMEs to embark on this digital transformation journey?
Yeah. So, Nandakumar, great question. It's an area where I spend a lot of my time.
I could imagine. Yes.
Yeah. So the first part of that is, increasingly, I'm not having to convince anymore. Somebody else is doing the job for me, which is their customer.
Very nice. Okay.
Okay. The second part is their peers are influencing them, saying, "Hey, why haven't you started on this? I started this little thing. It is working very well." So people are trying bits and pieces, IoT control systems, loops, and all of that, and they're getting good success. That is point number 2. Point number 3 is, pre-COVID, a lot of MSMEs would say we have reliable people. My operation engineer can just pick up the part in his hand and within a few seconds say whether it is good to go or not good to go. Now, after COVID, 2/3 or 3/4 of entire workforce, I think John and I are the only people who have stuck to the jobs through the pandemic. But everywhere, right from the flashiest software company to some remote manufacturing facility somewhere, where you have to drive for 2 hours to reach, everywhere people are leaving. So this people-centric business is not a model anymore. Everybody understands that. So people are going for process-centric models, and that is also an aspect of Industry 4. Now, coming to the third aspect, the real conversation is that the convincing, a lot of the reason why it needed convincing was the fear of failure. The fear of failure itself was connected to affordability. So the first thing we are doing for MSMEs is to make it affordable. So like I said, I'm bringing it down to cost of one engineer for a month. If you believe that you will need one full-time engineer to put your data together, analyze, monitor, and present on a daily basis, if you invest that cost on Industry 4, I'm saying that's affordable. Now, that's a risk proposition most business leaders are willing to take today.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I think you can close down this slide.
Sure.
Any other questions anybody has?
So Venkat, I have a question. So typically when you're looking at the investment, you also talked about on the investments on the industry 4.0. And one is basically you start with the problems to be solved and then go on with that. And when we really look at it from an SME leader's point of view, there is also another thing that comes into picture is ROI of any initiative. So how do they really need to look at it when it comes to ROI? Because as you rightly said, it's all about the data collection. And do they need to really look at from a long-term period of it, the ROI, or is that ROI is only based on the cost saving or revenue maximization, or are there other things that also comes as an intangible benefits as an ROI through these kind of industry 4.0 initiative? If you could little bit throw light on that, it could be helpful.
Right. So personally, if you ask me, which is my most favorite ROI, is that we take everybody out of the data business. Okay, today I see a lot of engineers, and supervisors. Even if you go up to the DGM level in a mid-sized manufacturing company, they are spending about 60% or even more of their time on a given day in things to do with data. I'm not saying they're manually processing data, but they're somehow, they're looking for data, reviewing, Excel sheets, building PowerPoints. So the entire data activity. If my topmost proposition as a practitioner in this space is, if I relieve those engineers of all the time they spend with data, won't they do a much better job of solving problems for their customers? So I have case studies of, we work with an industrial ceramics company where in the first year after implementation, about 2,200, 2,400 hours of time was saved for this management gap we're talking about, right? Someone from a supervisor level to a DGM level. These are people who go around the shop floor, collect the data, process, present, PowerPoint, iterate, that time. With that, a lot of things that they had slated for a 5-year goal as a company, a lot of those goals were brought forward into a 2-year cycle. So this for me is the biggest win. Now, how to put that in numbers, that number varies from company to company, but nevertheless, that's the top headline. Whereas if you look at, for example, utilities management, I want to bring down my power consumption. That's a return you can have in 3 months' time. So if you're investing to bring down your electricity bill, and if you have a large furnace or heat treatment, anybody who's in the heat business or high power consumption business, that's an ROI cycle for you that's happening in 3 months. If you look at something like traceability, it's not about ROI, it's about survivability of your business. If you don't have traceability, today, OEMs can transfer the risk of recall onto their supplier. So when something like that happens, if you don't have traceability, that is like, getting caught in a health situation without insurance. You're pretty much bankrupt at that point, right? And there are so many of those case studies lying around. Even big companies like, BMW and Nissan had to go through massive recalls. And immediately they are saying, who's the supplier that is responsible for it? Now, the supplier better have evidences and traceability that they have adhered to the process. So that's not a ROI question. It is like, am I going to be around tomorrow or not there tomorrow? If you look at productivity use cases, there are some low-hanging fruits out there. So typical companies that we speak to are in the 55, 60, 65% kind of efficiency. You can, when you are in that kind of an efficiency space, through an efficient industry 4.0 mechanism, you can achieve 2% every month. So those are, things which would give you your returns very much in the 6th month, within the 1st year. Then there are companies which have rework, where they, invest a lot of time in rework, or they go through rejection, depending on the type of material that you're dealing with. Those instances, again, the ROI cycles are very, very good. So these are all low-hanging fruits that we're talking about, in terms of refocusing your engineers on engineering, point number 1. 2, traceability, which is a question of survival. Then we're talking about cutting down your power bill, because cost per unit of power supply is always going to increase every day. Number 4 is any productivity efficiency improvements. Number 5 is quality. Now, the other side effects there are, in some cases it becomes very relevant, is that if you completely remove paper from your business, there are certain green quotients that you can achieve. There are certain ISO milestones that you can achieve. So if you're working with a environmentally conscious kind of a European customer, achieving a milestone definitely puts you on a higher plane with their sourcing strategy.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Venkat.
All of these are level 1, Lakshmimurthy. These are all, low-hanging fruits. There is a lot more to go. We, as a industry 4 player, from what we started with, today we offer our solution in 3 tiers. One is on the IoT level, which is reliably creating data from physical action on the floor. So we have partners who create IoT modules to a specific industry problem. So we work with a lot of old machines. So if you have a used press shop that you bought from Shanghai, don't worry, it can be converted to a modern machine. Again, I'm not going to come back to you with a huge budget. The cost of electronic components are collapsing every passing day. The second layer is the industry 4 layer. The third layer is the solving the engineering problem. So the most recent expansion that we are doing, the consortium approach where we are expanding with partners, is solving engineering problems for our customers. So we come to you with 3 tiers. That way, our ROI proposition is very, very strong.
Any other questions? I think we are already close to time. So I think with that we can probably So thanks again for all your inputs, Venkat. I believe there's a lot to take away for the audience today. So if anyone would like to get connected with Venkat for a one-on-one session, please do reach out to us at support@nichebrains.ai, or you can reach to me, john.vincent@nichebrains.ai. So we can get you connected with Venkat. So thank you once again, Venkat, for being with us today on this episode.
Thank you, John.
So thanks a lot, and thanks everyone for joining. It was wonderful to have you all. So hope to see you in the next episode of the Join John soon. Bye for now, and this is John signing off. Bye-bye.